Right, hey up lads, just sorting my lights out here as usual. Or when someone watches this, re-watches this or whatever, Happy New Year to you all. Let's hope that 2021 is better than 2020. See if anyone turns up. Someone's turned up. Hi, whoever that is. Happy New Year to you. Oh my God. Del Boy, Dipsy and Kieran. Kieran, yeah, of course you can. Come in. Just, you know, I don't know how many people's going to turn up today. It's my first stream of 2021. It's all a bit of a head rush for me today. Metalhead is in the house. Now, Mr. Metalhead, do you want me to let people know that you're flogging your big rig on here, or do you want me to wait until you're ready? Eddie's mum, hi. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Oh, man. Yeah, I had a really, really good one. Tony Wakelin, hi, mate. Adrian Hobby, how you doing? I'm not sure whether to take little fella off. Money, good to see you in here as well, Money. The British Blink has become a Charlie Tango member. Yeah, well done, mate. Maybe you can put your Charlie Tango number in here. So, yeah, I'm just reading what Paul's saying. I might have news of a rig for sale. It's not mine, it'll be Paul's, but he's not ready yet. He's got a lot on his plate. Adrian Hobby, if the bird ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, I'm going to keep an eye on my security camera. Now, I've mentioned this before to a lot of you, and I think one particular person don't believe I've got them. But I do feed some foxes, which I've mentioned before. Albert Footy, whereabouts are you, Albert? Let's get that out of the way first. You could be the other end of the country to me. The British Blink Charlie Tango number is Charlie Tango 3914. That rolls off quite well. Good one. Dipsy's got his new fluke meter. If anyone's been following him, you'll know the story there. I think Dipsy should call himself Butterfingers. Let's just say that. I'm still waiting for Albert. Albert, you don't have to give out your address. Just, you know, Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Northamptonshire, Cambridgeshire, Norfolk, Suffolk, Scotland, you know, whatever. Chris Lane says, hi, Steve. Happy New Year. Thanks for asking for my Serio 827. It worked. No worries, mate. If you need anything next year, come and see me, all right? Money wants to see me t-shirt. Yeah. It basically says I'm radioactive. It was a Christmas present. Albert's in Hitchin. Yeah. There's a few guys out your way, Albert. So you should have a few contacts there. If you can't get any contacts, message me under one of my videos and I'll make a few calls, see if we can't arrange to get you chatting to some of the locals. All right, mate? Yeah, I've got a few presents actually. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of PMR action that I had over the Christmas break. It says Stephen, something or other, the man, the legend. Deb bought me that, so there you go. Thanks, Deb. Mr. Metalhead says that he'll get Albert easy. It depends what Albert's using. Albert, give us a rundown on your setup, mate. Are you going to be mobile or are you going to be home based? What aerial you got? What rig have you got? Have you got an amplifier? Just tell us a bit more. I'm excited for you, mate. Adrian Obby says the 6900, does the reset take you to factory or what the shop programmed it out? I think it's what the shop programmed it out. I know so many people that they get in, their knickers in a twist with a 6900 and are continually resetting it. Part of the knack with the 6900 is sussing out how it works. Once you've sussed out how it works, you're good to go. If not, you'll find yourself resetting it. Now, if you've got the Roger bleep set and it's just a pip, if you reset it, it will go back to the really long Roger bleep, which will annoy you and everyone else around you. Unless they're very tolerant or not wearing headphones. Okay, Albert's going to be home base. What aerial are you going to be using, Albert? And how high up you're getting it, mate? I don't want to sound like the Gestapo, but, you know, it's all relevant. Adrian Holby, yeah, it basically goes back. Let's just say, for argument's sake, you've buggered up all your channels and your clarifier is centralised at 1/4 and all the rest of it. And you've, I don't know, messed it up in some way. If you do a reset, all your frequencies that are programmed in, like the UK FM, if they're in there, they should all still be there, but your Roger bleep will change. It will go back to the long bleep, but, you know. The British Blink says he's building a 10, 11 metre Moxon for static mobile. I've got to be honest, I can't think what the Moxon is. I presume that's some sort of beam antenna. Maybe the British Blink can elaborate there on what sort of gain it might have. Yeah, Del Boy, one of our locals. You've probably seen him in some of my videos and some of Fred's videos. Eric, he's the old boy. He must have reset his once a week, and he always kept his Muppet channels and all the rest of it. But his Roger bleep would always go long. To be honest, I don't know everything there is to know about a 6900. And I think I've reset one of mine probably 4, 5, 6 years ago now. Albert Footy's got a grant too. Yeah, they're okay, mate. And I have heard of people with some 6900s buggering it up and it ends up stuck on 28 megs. I've never had that experience, so I don't know what the get around is with that. Mine, I think there's a wire snip inside and it's open and that's it. It's a big square, 6.25 dBi. Okay, right, anyway, let's, like I said before, I hope everyone's had a good Christmas. Happy New Year to you all. Something I've got to touch on, right? Just get this out of the way quickly. There has been a few comments in the chat section about other YouTubers that upload CB radio videos, and it don't go unnoticed. So if you've got an issue with any other YouTuber, air your views somewhere else, just to keep everything nice on this channel, if that makes any sense to you. I know I've all got an opinion about some of the others, but it's not really the place to sort of stick the boot in here. I do my thing, and I'll be honest, if someone else goes on their channel and starts slagging me off, I just don't give a shit. That's the truth, right? But some people do, you know, so just bear that in mind, lads. Mike Kelly's installed a 6900 in my car in Bishop Auckland. Whereabouts is that, Mike? Handbags and popcorn, it'll all be fine. Yeah, but just bear that in mind, all right? What I've just said here, you know, we're all grown-ups in here. If anyone's got any popcorn, count me in. I'll tell you what, I must have put on about another 2 stone. I've got to get that sorted. Swady Boy says, evening, Stephen, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, right back to Swady Boy. Has anyone else got any new kit? Did Father Christmas buy you a CB or anything like that? Or, you know, what you got? I've got, you know, some nice stuff, actually, T-shirts, socks, and a few other little bits. And I did sink a few Abbots. County Durham, North East. Yeah, okay. Mike, are you active? Have you been sort of on the rig, or are you just here wigging at the moment? New drills, etc. Dipsy, okay. Adrian Hobby says, yeah, the CRT with a big learning curve, bloody thing. Now, Adrian, was it you that's got the 6900? Sorry, I've got an attention span of a goldfish of late. Al Bast. Hi, mate. How you doing? Happy New Year to you. I did see one of your uploads the other day. Something about a beam, someone said in a comment. I've got to be honest, Alan, I didn't get to see it all, mate, but I did see full fair play. Albert Footy says his aerial was a Thunderpole 5/8 wave fiberglass, any good. You could have done a lot worse, mate. I've never had the Thunderpole 5/8 wave, but, you know, I'm not going to say I have. If it's a 5/8 wave aerial, get it up in the air, mate, just see how it goes. You know, you could have made a lot worse a choice, I tell you. The British Blink, oh God, I've been asked this so many times and I'm starting to sound like a broken record. What was the ultimate #1 sideband rig you've ever owned? Yeah, good for you, Mike. Yeah, that's the way to get chatting. Get on the mic, make a nuisance of yourself, start calling, you know, get a conversation going. And this goes to anyone, because a lot of people are struggling in their area where there's no one on, or there's not a lot of people on, or there's only a couple of us or whatever. What I found works, get on there on the CB, start chatting, try not to overdo the swearing, and every now and again just stop and just say, if anyone else is listening, like to join in, you know, come and join in. I completely lost my trail of thought there. Albert's talking about his 5/8 wave. You'll do all right on that, Albert. Get it up as high as you sensibly can. You know, if you can, break your neighbours in gently. Swady Boy bought a second-hand MD 100 Decimite off eBay. Yeah, they're quite good, them, aren't they? I know they go well with a 450. Chris Lane had a new T-shirt saying, "Never underestimate the power of a man with a CB radio with the missus. Yeah, brilliant. Albert, 15 metres up. Yes, okay, yeah, getting back to my best sideband rig. I've had so many, to be honest. But if you was to push me, I have to answer the question with two different rigs. The rig that gave me the most enjoyment was a brand new Cobra 148 GTL-DX that I bought back in the 80s. Bought it brand new, unmolested. It was stock. The thing, I loved it. That was only one. I've had loads of 148s. But I think the all-time best sideband rig I've had in a 10-metre sort of guise, if you like, is a CRT 9900. Absolutely love them. Adrian Obb is just mentioning about antennas without spending megabucks. Yeah, Adrian, you are right there to a really big point. But not all antennas are the same. And Adrian will know what I'm saying when I say this. You can get some home-based aerials, mini or whatever. They're about this high, about a metre tall. And I would never, ever recommend something like that unless it was the only thing that you could use. Half wave, 5/8 wave, no matter who makes them, that, like Adrian says, they're all pretty much a muchness, you know. Dips is saying about Birmingham being busy. What I will say about the 9900, and I can only talk from my own experience. I showed my 9900 no mercy whatsoever. It was always flat out and it got bloody hot. I didn't have a brown pair of trousers on. I just wrung its neck 24/7. And I must have run that for, I don't know, 3-4 years maybe. And unfortunately, I got skint, had to sell it. And it worked just as well when I sold it as the day when I first got it. I've now got the Anytone 6666, which is pretty much the same rig. But be warned, they both get really hot. Just be sensible with it. If you've got a fan, bung a fan on it if you're using it home base, you know. And I know two people have now blown up 9900s, and both of them were using an amp with the power turned down. Make it out of what you will. I don't know. Robert's on his third 9900. Yeah, I think they're a cracking rig. Yeah, Al Bast saying the Midlands seem to be getting busier on the radio. Yeah, Alan, this is to Mr. Al Bast. We've got a couple of new guys around here. One of them's a really nice lad. I think his name's Richard. He's got himself a grant too. Some sort of half wave up. You know, he's going to be a good addition to the local CB community. Anyway, over my shoulder, you might see a couple of PMR rigs. I've been using PMR on and off over the break, and luckily I can manage to talk to my mate Paul and a couple of the other lads on PMR, just literally on these. I'll show you what they are. I'll pick this one because it's not got the mic plugged into it. It's a Baofeng GT3 TP, 8 watts, 4 watts I think, and 1 watt. And one of them I've had for, I don't know, 2 years. It's been sat in its box. I finally got it out, charged it up and start using it. Cole Smith says, The 9900's not as good as the 6900 to him. I mean, I've had both. You know, everyone's got their opinion. Everyone's got their favourite, haven't they? If it was all the same, it'd all be wearing the same T-shirt, the same hat, the same rig, drive the same coloured car. That ain't what it's about, is it? We've all got our thing going on. Swady Boy says he loved his Superstar 360 FM, bought brand new from Zulu CB Lacestone Park back in the 80s. Boom, they are. I've actually got one. I'm not sure if this is it right here. I'll soon tell you. Yeah, that's it. This here is a Superstar 360 FM. It's had mods done to it, and there is a little fault with that one on channel 30 of the mid block, of all places. Adrian Hobby, it's got something about the same Murphy. Are we going down the Murphy home base route now? See, we've got 42 people in here. Welcome aboard, everyone, and Happy New Year to anyone who's just joined. If you've got any comments, questions, jump in, just put a comment in the chat section. Adrian Hobby says, why not? Are you referring to my comment about the Murphy home base? I've got to be honest, I hate the things, but if that's what you've got and that's what you use and you get on all right with it, fair play to you, mate. Who am I to say? You might get a 9900 and think, what a pile of junk that is. But I will quickly say why I prefer the 9900 over the 6900. The one I had on sideband, 75 watts it put out. The stock mic on the 9900, in my book, is better than the stock mic on the 6900. So you're looking at 30 watts 6900 versus at least 60 on the 9900. And I just like the layout of the rig. I mean, I've got a 6900 here in the box, so I'm not anti 6900. I did have two, but I got rid of one recently. I'm going to try and keep an eye on my security camera, because if my fox comes along, I might just quickly show you. And this is to Swady Boy. The Superstar 360 FM is basically a Cobra 148 GTLDX, just different name, a different, slightly different faceplate on them, aren't they? Now, if anyone can actually see and hear me at the minute, just, oh, here we go. It's just all started up again. Yeah, Robert Gibbs says he agrees on the comments with the mics on the 6900, 9900. It's what you fancy, isn't it? I mean, I've had both, multiples of both. I think I must have had 6 6900s. Up until very recently, I had 2. But now I've only got one. It's in its box. It's straight from, it came from Knights. My mate Paul bought it. Me and him did a deal. I don't think I've ever used it. It's just sat here. It's got the Knights sticker and all the rest of it on it. I'll probably flog it, swap it, or do something with it. But my main rig at the moment is the Anytone. Del Boy's just pointed out something, that he programs his 6900 on the CB bands. I presume that might be low, low, normal, low, mid, high, channels 1 to 40, but in the 10 meter section he does it channel 41 to channel 60, because 10 meters is not channelized as such, is it? So you get like a wider spread. Andy Bibby says, evening all. Evening Andy, happy new year to you, mate. British Blink is saying I should do a live on air one day, see if any of us can hook up together. There's a problem there. There's a few problems with that, with me anyway. I've not got home base for one. Now I can run coax to the car. You know, I ain't going to get too far on my 30 mile push, depending if someone's on the hill. And bit of a waste. I'm also using a Wi-Fi connection to do my streams. Now I know my rig interferes with my Wi-Fi in close proximity, so it'd knock me out for going live. Now I could do it up a local hill, but the connection on my local hill to the internet is sketchy at best, so I can't even go up the hill and do it. But I'm sure someone might pick up on that idea one day. Any PMR users on here? And if you're a PMR user, what sort of stuff do you use? I won't tell anyone. All right, secrets, you know, I'll keep it a good secret. British Blink, no, that's all right, mate. Just to fill you in on some of my background in CB, I've been on since 1981. I came on about 2 weeks after FM was made legalised. And that happened to be purely by chance, because my first rig was an AM rig. I quickly ended up being a home base. My first home base aerial was an Alcon, which was bloody horrible. I had GPs, silver rods, a CLR2, the Sirio 2012, so 5/8 wave. So was the CLR2. Had it on 2 scaffold poles. I had various amps back then, including the Bremi BRL 200, the BRL 210, and the Zetagi B300P. All through the 80s and 90s, I was into me DX, and don't even ask me how many rigs I've had. I ended up moving from there to Bedford. I had an IMAX 2000 up while I was there, a Ranger 2950, Zetagi B300, Diamond 30 amp power packed, teardrop with static, blah blah. So it's not like I don't know anything about home bases. Been there, done it. Unfortunately, here it's not going to happen. And obviously, that went down the amateur thing as well. I had a Trio TS430S, I think it was. Nice bit of kit. A Kenwood 860, I think it was. That's a huge, great thing with a tuner built in. Used to use that in the car on the passenger seat. Carl Smith says he's thinking of getting a Sirio 827, and at the minute he has a silver rod 5/8 wave. Would an 827 be a lot better? There's only one way to find out, Cole, and let's try it. They're both 5/8 wave, so I can't see that you're going to get a massive advantage. You might find you've got higher or lower noise. You know, then you could start talking about angles of radiation and all the rest of it. I don't know is the answer to that. But I know I would rather have the 827 up than a silver rod. British Blinks using an FT 920 for 11 metres for now. Yeah, fair play. I've never had the 920. I'm not familiar with it, mate, if I'm honest. Wayne says he has a 9-foot tank whip attached to his flat. Why not? Yeah, Ben Speed, if you've just come in here, happy New Year to you, mate. I'm fine. The other lads can. Paul Miller says, is Fred in a shed on Facebook? No, he was, but he's not now. Mikey Smith is asking about handheld that has UK FM and sideband on it. Is it any good? I've never had one. And I have heard chatter on the grapevine about people that have got them. I can't, with hand on heart, make a sensible comment on that. But I've heard that a few are a little bit off frequency, but it's only hearsay. Any rig, you're going to get a little bit of negative. But I would say, having had multiple handhelds over the years, if you can, get home base or go mobile in your car, you'd be much better off. Yeah, Del Boy, that's right, he was. And I've spoken to Fred about that. I don't want to add too much to it on my own personal opinions. GM4, hi Chris, how you doing? But what I will say, I thought he was bullied off of Facebook. I was surprised at that. Some strange people about. I think there's a lot of jealousy thrown in. Simon Rickson saying 6900N or the 5555. I think they're basically the same rig, mate, to be honest. I don't know about being a legend, Mikey. I think a legend's, I don't know. Can't really tell you. But all I can say about Fred in the shed, what he lacks in knowledge, he makes up for his enthusiasm. Okay, I was Fred's first ever contact on sideband when he got his Grant 2. Me and him got chatting on it. Since then, he's really took off. He's got the 450. He's gone PMR. He's gone everything. And I think he does a cracking job. I don't know where he gets his time from, to be honest. Yeah, Del Boy, I hear that. I've seen that. Obviously, being an uploader myself, I don't want to get involved in it. But I will say that I think Fred was bullied off of Facebook. Is what it is. Fred has helped me. Fred's never done me no harm. Yeah, I can't say no more than that. I'm on Facebook, as you all know. And while we're on the subject here, right, this is something I want to address. This is something I might do right after this video. I noticed on Facebook regarding what's going on in the world, there's a lot of, conspiracy theories going up regarding it. Now I'm going to have a check through my Facebook page, my CB Radio Europe page, and I'm going to put on there, if anyone wants to put anything that I consider to be something that's not going to help in the current thing that's going on right the way around the world, they're going to be removed. Simple as. A lot of false information flying about. Life's tough enough as it is. GM4. You're right. Yeah, it's been withheld, but yeah. Yeah, good for you, Del Boy. If you put yourself out there, you're going to get a bit of flack. You just take it on the chin. If you're going to be one of these people that's affected by it, worries about it, dig a big hole, hide yourself in it. You know, that's the way I sort of look at it. You got to be a bit sort of thick-skinned, ain't you? And funny enough, well, Del Boy, I just reading that about bullies. Like when I was on the CB, yeah, Dipsy, same as. When I was on CB, my CB handle was Fat Man, right? I've told this story before. And I got a lot of stick for that. But it's like water off a duck's back. I mean, I weren't half the size of what I am now. I didn't care. Yeah, so there you go. I did ask about PMR. I just wondered if any of you guys... Swaley boy, yeah. Fred, he's a good lad. Do you know what I mean? I said exactly what I think, and I'll stick by that. In actual fact, I've spoken to Fred on Zello. I've spoke to him loads on the rig. I've never met him. We nearly met. He very, very near, me and him nearly met. We were going to maybe meet up for coffee. It didn't happen. But I have seen him, and I'm not going to tell you exactly how I got it, but I got a picture of him, of Fred in the shed. I know exactly what he looks like. He's not got two heads, but his thing is to just do the hand thing, you know, whatever. I suppose it's got its advantages and disadvantages in it. Chris is talking about Ringway Manchester. Now, when I think it was you that first mentioned him, I've seen some of his videos, and I thought when you were talking about him, you were talking about someone else, because there is another guy that does a lot of PMR stuff. Wayne, no, I haven't, mate. Fred does his thing. I do mine thing. I don't want to become part of someone else. Do you know what I mean? Because you can easily become that. Fred does his thing, I do my thing, and that's the way it is, you know. Oh, here we go. Computer's gone off now. Oh, we're back again. Del Boy, no, I've not seen that. Touchwood on the hill. That's a suspect username, I'll tell you what. I like it, but, you know, think about it. Back in the 80s, loads of haters giving hate, but never put me off. Happy New Year to you, Touchwood. Welcome aboard. Fred, you see, now this sort of thing, a bit of banter about Fred's fine, but like I did say earlier, welcome aboard everyone, and anyone that hasn't joined the chat section, happy new year to everyone. Thanks for joining the live stream as well. It's a job to keep up, in actual fact. Yes, Chris, whatever you're doing, you know, ignore it. What a lot of people don't get, possibly at first, is no matter what radio you use, whether it be a PMR, CB, or amateur radio, they're real people out there, you know. And I've got to be honest, when I first got my first ever CB that worked, that was two weeks after FM was made legal. I did have a rig before then, but it didn't really count because it didn't transmit. But I used to earwig on it. But once I started talking, went out and met a few people, I was never an eyeballer. Loads of people say, fancy an eyeball. I'd always say no. But if I am to meet someone by chance on a hill, sorry, I'm reading this. You know, I wouldn't sort of drive off. If someone approached me, I'd say, hello, you know, I'm Steve Fatman, or whatever I was calling myself at the time. But you actually do become part of something. And I think once you become part of that, providing you get on with a hobby, I think it's a great thing, you know. Simon Johnny said, did you use the GT3 PT for PMR at 8 watts or using it with an amateur license? I'll leave you guessing there, Simon Johnny. British Blink is asking, what distance can you get on PMR? It depends. If you're on top of a big mountain and someone else is on top of a big mountain, or, you know, the conditions are favourable, you can get, you know, 100 miles plus. There you go, Del Boy. He knows a lot about PMR. I think he's done a lot of it in his day. In actual fact, I used to use Del Boy's forum, and I used to call myself Ranger One. I doubt if Del Boy even remembers me, or even if it was the same site. Sure, it was. I've got a few. Well, I say they're PMR rigs. 270, it's a UV5R, the T3P, whatever you want to call it, is just an upgrade from that. I've got the Intec 5050. I've got in that box, you can just see it in the background, it's a Motorola T80s, which I obviously use for PMR because they're a legal rig, buy them off the shelf. Pardon me. Mr. GM4, you're referring to PMR or CB, mate? And you only had a pilot. Del Boy's got the PMR record. How does it go? Is it like a reggae one, Del Boy, or what? No, come on. You can't keep us in suspense. How far did you get, Del Boy? Simon says he's going out soon, so we'll need some tips on how to connect a rig into his car. Well, I'll tell you what, you would not believe my setup right now. I've had contacts into America, Germany, Italy. I won't even bore you with all the different countries I've had from the car. It takes me about 5 minutes to set up. I've got a mag mount. I stick it in the middle of the roof of the car, run the coax through a window, connect it to my CB, and I've got a separate battery in the back of the car with crocodile clips. Connect the rig to that. Bosh, that's it, done. Albert Footy, me and you, Albert, may well have spoke years ago, because Dunstable Downs is my local hill. Yeah, Del Boy, if you've done Holland on PMR, yeah, good for you, mate. I well believe it. Yeah, Simon, there's all sorts of ways you can do it. But literally, me, if you're going to get an aerial on your car, if you haven't got one already, consider something like the Sirio range, one of the bigger ones, like the Sirio Megawatt 4000. I think they're only about 30 odd quid. Obviously, if you want the magnet with it as well, it costs you a little bit more. I've yet to have a Sirio aerial and mag mount that I've bought and put on the car and had an SWR issue. All the ones I've had have been really lucky. They've been 1.5 or less, depending on what part of the band I'm using. Now, Andy Bibby says he uses a side mount or straight into the roof for me, and he avoids mag mounts. That's fair enough. There's a lot to be said, because some tuners won't work with a mag mounted aerial, as I found out. But for what I want and for what I do, can't knock a mag mount. You know, I've had, well, if any of you have watched any of my videos going back any amount of time, you'll see me on Dunstable Downs in the car talking to a guy in America on, I don't know what frequency it was. Then another guy called in, calling his mate. We sort of both ended up on the same channel at the same time. And I said to the first guy, hold on, mate, there's someone else on here. I just want to, I went back. So, I've never found a mag mount be a limitation in any shape or form. Adrian says his mate used to have a mag mount and it got ripped off by a pheasant. Yeah, that'll do it. Well, I'll be honest, on the years that I've been on rig, I haven't always used a mag mount. I've had gutter mounts, boat mounts, and all the rest of it, like the rest of us have. My aerial's been ripped off of my car twice. Once, I think it must have been a wood pigeon. I was doing about 60 miles an hour at the time. It knocked it over. And once I went under one of the local bridges, you know, you get the pigeons roosting up there. Well, as you go underneath, they flutter from one bit to the next. Pigeon flew straight into the aerial. Someone called My Tube. Hi, Steve. I presume I don't know what you mean now. I don't know if your name's Alec, but if your name's Alec, Hi, Alec. Happy New Year to you, mate. British Blink saying about the Wilson 1000. Robert Gibbs. Yeah, no worries, Rob. Cheers for popping by. It's great to have you on board. And like I said, Happy New Year to you, mate. Hopefully we'll catch you soon. Now, the British Blink. I'm going to find myself repeating myself here again. I don't know if you know, but years ago I went to America. I went to Virginia State, and I stopped in. I wanted to go in a truck stop and have a look at the CBs. Cut a very long story short, I came out with a Wilson 1000. Created a bit of havoc getting it through the airport. The woman that was scanning all of the luggage, she called me over, what's that? And I looked, I couldn't work out what it was. And of course it was a bloody mag mount on it. I'd had to bend the whip around the suitcase. Luckily it was a big old suitcase. Yeah, I like the Wilson 1000. Simon Rickson says, am I on the rig currently, Steve? No, I haven't got home base. DX27, I'm trying to think what one of them is, Adrian. Is it like a DV27 with a go faster stripe on it, that sort of thing? But yeah, some of the older aerials are pretty good, aren't they? I mean, the modulator, I had them back in the day, including the super modulator, you know, the bass and centre loaded ones. They were all right. People were still raving about them. Fire sticks, people are still using. Yeah, okay, Adrian, fair enough. Looks more loaded. If it works, it works. As simple as that, isn't it? I think the worst aerial that I've had recently, now this is coming from someone that won't buy an aerial with the word mini or anything like that in it. Bigger is better. It's as simple as that with CB. I was given a Wilson, I think it's called a Little Will. What a pile of rubbish that thing is. Fire stick on a triple mag mount. Yes, if it works, it works. I mean, I've got no doubt that most of the copies I've had into, I don't know, let's say Germany, it's a pretty bread and butter DX contact in it, Germany or Italy or wherever. Most of them were done on a Serio Megawatt 4000, but I've got no doubt that if I was using something like Half-Breed or a modulator or even a DV27, I'd have probably still made them contacts. Swady Boy saying, is the IMAX 2000 a 5/8 wave? Apparently so. I've actually had two of them. They're about 24 foot long. They're quite an unwieldy thing. Metalheads laughing about the Little Will. And I don't know, maybe I'll have to take mine apart. Maybe it's come separated from the coax. Glenn Jones. Hi Glenn, happy New Year to you, mate. Glen Tower Bridge. I still use the K40 on my aluminium shed. Yeah, K40 is good aerials as well. Now I've got no idea where Glen Tower Bridge is. Whereabouts is that, Glenn? Yeah, Simon, once all this lockdown and all that is out of the way, I'm starting to fidget here. Just this chair ain't exactly the most comfortable thing. Once we can all get out and get up the hills, we'll have to arrange something. AM for music says, hi Steve, what rig would you recommend for sideband? Oh dear, for clarity, stuck for choice really, fella. Well, I've got a couple here, right, and I'll just start on these. I've got the 6900N. In my book, nothing wrong with them. Not my favourite rig, but the 6900's okay. I've got the President Lincoln 2 Plus, I think it's a cracking rig. The CRT 9900 is my favourite rig. You got the CRE 8900, they're a nice enough rig, or the Alinco DR135DX, I think they're called. What sort of budget you got? You know, is it about you want the cheapest one that sounds the best, or what? Yeah, Bob says all up the hill in the summer. See if we can link up throughout the UK. That would be absolutely superb, wouldn't it? To be honest, I'd be in my heyday. Andy Bibby says Stalker 9 all day. Yeah, I've had a few of them. The only thing I didn't like about the Stalker 9 is the fact it's not got a KC shift, but you're right, they've got a lovely sound to them on sideband. Ray Jones says he's got hold of a rig and I've been putting out calls and scanning, but there's nothing going on where I live, and he's in Newton Abbot. Now, Ray, there is people on down your way. I know full well there's someone in the Teignmouth, Sheldon area. Are you mobile, Ray, or have you got yourself a home base, mate? £350. Well, I don't know. Andy Bibby says, sorry, pal, but all those rigs you said are new Chinese and these old school. There's nothing wrong with that. I've done the old school. I think if you was to say what's my favourite old school rig, it'd have to be the Cobra 148 GTL DX, the President Adams, the President Jackson, the Stalker 9s. You know, there's a lot of, I was never like a Cybernet fan, though I did hear a lot of good multi-mode 2s, jumbos, etc. Yeah, I think it was Ray Jones that's in Newton Abbot. Get yourself up a hill if you can. Have a listen. Scanning is all right, but the rig will rely on anything breaking through the squelch. If you really want to listen, open the squelch so you can hear all the hiss. And just if you can go up a channel at a time, you might pick something up that wouldn't normally break through your squelch. Albert Footy says, yeah, that's a question. Cybernet or Uniden? I'm a Uniden man myself. But there is a lot to be said about some Cybernet rigs. Like I said, I mean, you get a good iGain 5, that can be really good. Multi-mode 2s, jumbos and all the rest, but my ear just warms better to the Uniden tone, let's say, because I've got, in my book, a better tone, but it could just be my ear rolls. TriStar 747, yeah, I had one of them. Disaster, unfortunately for me. Albert Footy said he used to have a great 80 channel Harrier CBX. Yeah, they're a good rig. Anyone who's been on for any amount of years has probably had one of them. They're good. Phaser Rider says, are the Anytone 4.6s any good? I've got one. I think it's a banging rig, mate. And someone's been pestering me to power test mine for a long time. Well, I've only had it about a month, but I did power test it. According to my meter, which reads slightly under, if any of you have seen my amplifier testing videos, well, no, it reads under. But my Anytone 6666, according to my meter, does just over 60 watts on sideband, just short of 50 watts on FM, and on AM, if you talk it up a bit, it goes up to 50 watts as well. So they're only quoted at doing sort of 20 or 30 watts. So maybe mine was tweaked before it was shipped out. I don't know. Dave L is talking about the McKinley. I had a McKinley, as you might or may not know. Paul Metalhead 503 bought it. He only had it for 2 days. I had it off him. I've done the expansion mod on it, and it improved it that much. Paul wanted it back, and now he's got it. Mr. Metalhead 503. I think the McKinley's all right. If I'm honest, it didn't really float my boat. I couldn't really tell you why. I couldn't tell you what I didn't particularly like about it. Sounds good on sideband and okay on AM and FM. There's a lot of good kit out there, and fortunately or unfortunately, we don't all want the same rig. One person's view is going to be completely different, and really that's what this is about, isn't it? The nicest looking rig I've had. I've got to be honest, Andy, I'm not about looks. I mean, if it was about looks, I think the Magnum S9, it's all blue, it's got that round meter on it. That was a pretty thing, it's all chrome, but I'm not about looks. I'm more about performance. If the rig works very well, I don't care if it looks like a pile of scrap metal. Wayne's asking, what was the most unusual rig you ever had? Well, one of my rigs might seem unusual to some of you guys, depending on how long you've been on. My first rig was, it's called a Bristol. It was a straight 40 AM rig. And instead of having a digital display, it had a round disc, like a lot of the early rigs, with the numbers 1 to 40 on a clear disc. So when they had a light bulb at the top, so you had to sort of look what number was at the top. I suppose that would be unusual by today's standard. If my mate had a rig, I can't remember what it was called. I nearly had it off him, but the deal never came. It's like a telephone thing, because there was a lot of crazy stuff about back in the day. Dave L. Yeah. Yeah, there's you know, like most of these guys in here, as a collective, I dare say it's probably not many rigs that most of us haven't tried. But I will say, and this is something that most of you in here already know, you can have the best rig in the world, but if your antenna system is rubbish, you're not going to get the best out of it. The most important bit of any radio setup or transmitter setup is the antenna. Yeah, Mr. GM4, catch you later, Chris. I'll probably be gone by the time you get back, but Happy New Year to you, mate. Thanks for dropping by. Adrian Obbis says, am I on Wednesday? I'm hoping to be. But it's a funny old time at the minute, and sometimes my head ain't quite right for getting on, but I will try to be on. And this is to anyone else, maybe some of you have not been here before. I tend to go live on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 o'clock p.m. Yeah, Bob, aerial and coax is the best investment you can make, 100%. 100%. I can't argue that in any shape or form. Well, I'll tell you what, lads. According to this, it's 5 past. I'll give it till about 10 past. So if any of you guys have got a question or you haven't sort of commented yet, you know, make a comment. Oh, I nearly forgot. I've got a little bit, I can't even call it a video, but I've got something I've put together. It's on YouTube already, but it's set up private at the moment. But just after I've finished my live stream, I'm going to make it public. I want you guys to have a look and see if you can read it. It's a lot of writing, if you like. I just want your comments whether you think the writing's big enough. Yeah, catch you later, Delboy. Cheers for popping by, and again, Happy New Year to you, mate. Good luck, be safe, and all the rest of it. Phil Davis says, what do you think of the CT900? I don't know what one that is, mate. Simon Ripson says, what's your best power connectors? I'm not really sure what you mean by that, Simon. Can you sort of elaborate a little bit? John Jones, what do you spend most of your time on? CB or ham? My ham license needs revalidating, so I'm not on there at the moment. And I've used both, and I like both. But at the moment, I'm only on PMR and CB. Both of them have got their uses. The best cure for QRM is unplug your aerial. I don't know, station earthing could be a thing. Move your aerial away from the source of interference. Track down your source of interference. Okay, Simon. From the battery to the rig. Well, I use a spare battery in the back of my car. So my Anytone, which is here incidentally, I think it's actually connected to my power supply, otherwise I'd show you it. And by the looks of it, we've missed the fox. Too busy chopsing. So what I do on my battery, I bought some connectors. My battery's got round posts on it. So the things I've got them off of Amazon. They're a battery terminal. They obviously bolt on, but on the top they've got a stud with a wing nut, and the wing nuts are coloured. One's red and one's black. And what I connect my Anytone with, I've got eyelets crimped onto the end of the power lead. So just put the eyelet over the stud, do the wing nut up, job done. Now I've also in the past used crocodile clips. I wouldn't say they're the best way of doing it, but they're a convenient way of doing it. And if I was to be running my rig to the battery to the car, which I have done in the past, I use 40 amp black and red cable. It's not the cheapest you can buy, and it's a bit unwieldy, but connect that directly to the battery on the car and fuse it at the battery end. So that way, if there's a short between your positive post and any of the body work, it will blow the fuse. Whereas if you put the fuse the rig end, if your live shorts out on the body work anywhere, that section won't be fused, so it could cause a fire. And I hope that helps. Phil R. Davis meant the CRT 9900. I think they're superb. They get hot. A lot of people worry a bit too much about the heat. And if you've never had a rig that puts out any amount of power before, you might be quite shocked at how hot they do get. But they're a banging rig. My favourite rig of all time, if I'm honest. Darren Barwick says, great to see you. Happy New Year, Steve. Happy New Year to you as well, Darren. Andy Bibby says you don't need 40 amp, but normal CB power lead, and just double it. Depends on how many amps you're going to be drawing, mate. That's all I can say on that. Simon Rickson. And I will just say, regarding cable, you can't really ever go too thick with cable. You can go too thin and you'll get voltage drop at your rig. You'll key up, your lights will go dim. And if you put a voltmeter across your supply to your rig, when you key up, you'll see the voltage drop. But you can't really go too fat, too thick. It's better, my ways, it's 40 amps is overkill, but the further a run you get, the more voltage drop you get, particularly at 12 volts. Simon Rickson says, stupid question, how do you charge your battery back up when you get home? Is a stupid answer for you, Simon. With a battery charger, I've got an RAC, I think it's quoted at being 10 or 12 amps, but it only actually puts out 8. I bought mine on Amazon. If you look them up, you'll see, obviously, with it being an RAC thing, it's like orange. Colin Wiltshire, Happy New Year to you as well. Yeah, the 9900, they do get bloody hot. I think I've had 3 9900s now. The other, well, all of them I've gone, I've sold. They didn't blow up, they didn't melt, they didn't catch on fire. Now at the minute, I've got the Anytone 6666, which is basically the same rig. John Jones says, I've heard a mag mount aerial isn't as good as a 3 mount. What do you reckon? Well, I've used both, and for the last, I don't know, pardon me, I'm trying to work out how many years I've been using mag mounts. Probably about the last 8 years I've been using mag mounts, and then I've found it not limiting at all. I do as good as anyone else, and as I was telling the other lads earlier, I've worked stateside from the car, and all of the other countries. I've been mobile, driving down the motorway, talking to Roy in Corsica with just the mag mount on the roof. I mean, 9900, 6900, whatever I might be using at the time. Now, Darren Barwick bought his kids a set of cheap 8-channel PMR walkie-talkies. Now, Darren, what rig are you referring to? Because I did show a couple. John Jones says, cheers, Steve. I've got a K40. What do you reckon on those? I reckon they're a good aerial. It's been a lot of years since I've had one. I had 2 or 3 back in the day, but I've not had one for a lot of years. Oh, the UV5R. Is it this one, Darren? They're all right. Phaser rider. Catch you later, Phaser. Stay lucky. Happy New Year again. You know, be safe and all the rest of it. Yeah, these are as cheap as chips. I don't know what you can get them for. 15, 20 quid, I think, last time I looked. You've got to learn how to program them and all that. Yeah, Albert, once you do finally get yourself set up, make sure that you let me know how you get on. I'm sure that you'll be absolutely fine. Darren Barwick, Chirp, yeah, stick it on Chirp. You can program it there. Out of the 2, Darren. Oh God, I've upset my computer here. That is a GT3 TP. Just get a little side by side. The GT3 TP just feels a little bit better in your hand, and this will do 8 watts, whereas the other one does 5, but I don't think you need 8 watts, to be honest. Oh my God, Abbott Ale. No, I won't be drinking that. And on this one, I've actually got the Bofeng mic. It's just sort of handy, you know. I've done side-by-side tests. Apparently the fist mic sounds very slightly better, but not by a lot, to be honest. I think the idea is, you know, if you had this on 8 watts, rather than it being right next to your head, you can put the rig away and just talk like that. Wayne's asking, do you have any funny stories from CB back in the day? Wind-ups? Yes, loads. I'm trying to think. I'll tell you what, if you join on Wednesday, ask me that same question. I'll tell you a couple of them. And some of them are unbelievable, what people will do. You know, they're an old mate of mine. I had him running about one foggy night, and I felt that bad. But I'll tell you another day, okay? Yeah, there was loads of wind-ups, weren't there? That was the crack. Simon Rickson says, is PMR 446 cool for DX? It depends what you call DX. If you was in here earlier when Del Boy was on, he managed Holland, right, which is, I don't know, 300 miles from where he is. I've never achieved them distances, and it's not something that you can do every day, but you can get good distances if you're up high. And just remember, a lot of people on PMR, if you try talking to them, the head catches light and they run off, they run for the hills. It scares the hell out of them. Because I'll get back to you, Albert, regarding the coax length. If I forget, remind me. A lot of people, they know nothing about rigs or nothing. They see walkie-talkies and they think, we'll have some of them for hiking or camping, or the kids can have them. And, you know, they're great. I mean, I've got 2 Action 1100s, which I hardly use. They're still in like a nice little carry case. I've got the Talker T80s and whatnot. But a lot of the blurb about them will tell people that they've got privacy channels. And people think, right, we'll have a privacy code so no one else can hear us. But it's very easy to scan that privacy code. And what they don't realise is, if you're listening on a rig without a privacy code, you'll still hear them. All the privacy code does is allow the 2 radios to hear each other and nothing else. Now, if you scan their frequencies and think, right, I'm going to join in, they're like, whoa, you know. Right, let's get back to Albert. This is something I do. This is something I was told by an amateur years ago, and it's helped me throughout the years. I was always told to avoid multiples of a quarter wave in your coax. So if you need 18 feet, use 20 feet. So that way your coax is not resonant as such. And if you look up on some manual tuners, the MFJ range, for example, they'll actually tell you that in the instructions, because it can cause high impedance. Not everyone gets it, not everyone agrees with it, but that's what I do. It's always worked for me. Darren Barwick says, does Chirp work on a Mac? I think there might be a Mac version. I'm not 100% sure, if I'm honest. Anna X says no to both in kids. And I will just add regarding Chirp, when I first got a lead to program one of these Bofung things in, it drove me absolutely nuts. It would not read from the rig. I had to play about rolling back drivers and all the rest. In the end, I got a lead with a certain chip in it. Now it's dead easy. Albert Footy, who says, is that multiples of 5 feet? A quarter wave is about 9 foot. Yeah, they're all right. They're cheap enough, Darren. If you get one, perhaps now you get on with it, mate. Anna X has tried cheap Yaesu FT4XE. I've never had one of them. Don't even know what they are, mate, to be honest. But listen, guys, I'm going to have to wrap this up. This has gone on now for quite a while, and it takes YouTube an absolute age to process this before I can do a lot of editing and do just finalize stuff that you guys really don't even see. But right after this, I will be making available a little, call it a video if you like. I'd like you guys to have a look at it. Let me know if you can read it. Okay. Albert, just run out whatever you need, right? Give yourself a little bit extra in case you decide to move your rig from one side of the room to the other or whatever. Check your SWR. If you find you're having problems with your SWR, you know, ask. Most people don't even worry about what length of coax, so just do what they need, chop it, solder it on, and 99.9% of the time you won't have any problems. Simon Rickson mentioned Sid. I've spoke to Sid on rig. I was up on Wendover Hills on the perch. Sid was on his hill, but I don't think I'm subscribed to his channel, so I don't really know. Mr. Duffy says best way to put rig in a motor CRT 6900 is the 12 volt. I presume you mean the fag lighter socket. Too weak to connect it in there. Well, just recently I've seen a lot of people doing exactly that. Maybe some of the modern cars have got quite beefy cables. I've never connected a rig that will do 40 watts to a cigarette lighter socket. You can try it. You might find you're blowing a fuse somewhere or that's all right, Duffy. I know what you meant, mate. Or you can do, I'll tell you how to tell if your rig's not liking it. Providing your SWR's right. If you get your 6900, put it on AM or sideband and give it a bit of a whistle. If the rig lights are going dim, connect it somewhere else. Anyway, listen, some people do it and get on with it, so who am I to say? But it's not something I personally would do. As I've told you all, I run a separate battery in the back of my car. Darren Barwick, yeah. Happy New Year to you again, mate. Right, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I've got 23 likes, so if anyone has forgot to hit like, that would like to hit like, I suppose now would be a good enough time. Dislike, whatever, you know. No worries, Dipsy. Good to see you in here, mate. It's good to be back. So, yeah, till next time. Stay safe, everyone. You know, I can't say no more than that. You couldn't make up what's going on in the world at the minute, but this is my little bit where hopefully you guys forget about all that rubbish and just get on here and chat radio for a little while. Thanks for coming along, everyone. Again, Happy New Year. I'll be live again next Wednesday, 7 o'clock PM UK time. Thanks for popping along, everyone, and take it easy, fellas. Let's get myself out of here.